How we're doing this?
Yeah, we did it last week. We did it the week before.
It's great.
It is great. So what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing all right, man. I just set some goals this morning. Woke up at like 4 o'clock this morning and decided that I needed to create some goals, I guess you could say. So I made a few things and moving through that. Pretty good.
Oh yeah. So what's any of them extra weird? What's your goals?
I think probably the weirdest one. Well, I shouldn't say the weirdest one. The most difficult one for me is to reduce my marijuana intake to 1 day a week. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, this has been something you've done before.
This has been something that usually I quit completely, or the opposite. And so I'm looking at one better understanding the relationship. So something is driving and filling that need to have sensation that I can't have a normal relationship. It's very similar to like alcoholism, what most people struggle with alcohol is like either not doing it every day or doing one and then wanting to do more. So hoping to explore the relationship a little bit and always enjoy the clear-headedness from it.
I'm making an assumption here. So you, by only doing it once a week, you are practicing the being able to do it once and not do it the next day, more or less.
Exactly. And learning learning a little bit of balance in something that really doesn't have balance for me. It's either all on or all off.
Got it. I dig it, man. I really like that exploration. It's kind of like a cheat day. Like if you're eating really well, I guess, per se. Some people can be like, oh, I'm just going to do a cheat meal. Well, I'll just do a cheat half a day. And then it's like a cheat day. And then it's like, well, cheat day is going to roll into Sunday morning. And then before you, it's like, well, I'm just going to do birthday weekend.
It's going to be a cheat month. Fuck it, right?
No, and I think it's interesting time to think about that too, because it's October 1st.
Mm-hmm.
We're like entering into the realm of the freaking pumpkin spice. Then we roll into the turkey feast. And then
I saw your post today, man.
I really, it's just, I think this holiday season, and it's because you can already see people. It's like, oh, it's 2019. It's going to be in like 3 months. Yeah, that's 90 days away. That's a really long time. Right? Yeah, let's just tune out for 3 months. We'll just get distracted by, first it's the pumpkin spice, and then it's the conversation and the costumes, and then the conversation directly outside of this door. No matter where I go, they're chasing after me. I hope it's not too distracting, but yeah, it's really fascinating. So I'm excited. When are you starting?
I started today. So part of my, I kind of started formulating the fact that I wanted to set here. I'm going to actually disappear for 10 seconds. I'm going to grab my notebook.
Do it. We're just going to hang out while Dustin is gone.
He's back.
He is back.
Fix my microphone.
Yeah, it's all good, dude.
So I decided that I wanted to wake up super early in the morning and kind of create this. A lot of times when I start, because I'm super into goals. I'm a goal digger, man. I love goals and being goal oriented. And then I also love not having any goals. So I enjoy both spaces. I haven't had any goals for a long time. So I decided that I wanted to make some goals. Normally when I make goals though, I make all my goals and then I start tomorrow. There's always this like, but today's my last day, right? So I kind of wanted to get out of that psychology that I play with myself. So I woke up super early in the morning and wrote my goals down this morning. And I wanted it to be on 6 different categories. So relationship, mindset, nutrition, movement, spiritual, and emotional. And so it's similar to some of the goal setting stuff that we've done before, except I didn't follow all of that exactly. And all of these goals are either 6 days a week or 3 days a week. So it's kind of built in for me to fuck off a little bit, but also built in with a little bit of structure. So trying something new and have fun with it. I lost audio.
I muted myself to pause a conversation outside the door. Give me an example of a 3-day goal.
Sure.
Like a 3 day a week goal. I'm just curious.
Sure. So I have under my spirit goal is 3 cold exposures a week. and 3 breathing sessions a week. So
Got it. Got it.
not super specific on duration or what that looks like. Just approach it 3 times and see what comes up.
I dig that. I see that was one of the things, you know, I've both done PLD. Dustin and I have both done some work inside of a community business called PSI. And they have this one thing called PLD where the goals are very rigid. And it's like, once you make them, it's like over the span of 90 days. It's like, even if as you're evolving and growing and then you're re-looking, you're like, oh, well, this goal should totally be this as you're learning more. I like that you kind of left them open to some structure and some interpretation, which can be really good for some people and really bad for others. And yet I really love the context of which you've set for yours. I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, and it's for 60 days, so it's not quite 90 days. And
Yeah.
the theme 6 is really, you can actually see it. I drew it on a hexagon.
Oh,
So,
dope.
because I'm pretty obsessed with hexagons and this idea. So 6 is kind of a running theme throughout it. Yeah.
Cool,
Something
man.
Yeah.
Nice. When's the last time you smoked? Yesterday? This morning?
Yesterday.
Nice. Cool.
Totally. So I'm
Cool,
also
man.
in that zone, which is a really weird space, because I come home and I'm like, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. It opens up a whole new avenue of like, oh man, what am I gonna do? Start to weave or like knit or like work out more or whatever, you know?
Totally. That's what I did, man. I went to the gym. I cleaned up some stuff in the garage. Like,
yeah. I have an idea of something to get into for the weird shit that we do.
Totally.
Because I got a text from Makara about 30 minutes ago and she said, I think I might be having contractions. So yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, is it happening? And she's like, I'm not really sure. She's like, go do your thing and I'll just keep your phone next to you. So I'm like, every time it turns, it lights up. I'm like, so if I bail out of here real quick, it's because I'll just leave you on and I'll do it in the car. We'll just drive home. So the weird thing that I wanted to talk about is that my first child with Makara, Charlie, we had at home and we're having a home birth again with this baby. And a lot of people, and I'll give you a story about me. When Makara and I first got pregnant, or were first getting pregnant with Charlie, this is 3 years ago. She's like, oh yeah, and we're gonna have the baby at home. And I was like, why? I'm in the Navy. I have TRICARE. They pay for everything. Like I was like, this is why, you know, as if it's gonna save us any money. And then just kind of like trusting her and leaning into that process, and then everything that I've learned, and then having the baby on our bathroom floor at 2:30 in the morning, and just like being the only people there, like me and Makara and the midwife and the doula and my dog Murphy. Like it was just like, and then 3 hours later, like it's just you by yourself in your home with your child.
Yeah.
And so as just for anybody who's out there thinking of having babies, like consider doing it at home. It's amazing. It's super chill. And I think that was the scariest thing for me, is that I was expecting it to be like this massive shit show, but it was so chill that I was actually had anxiety about the chillness of it.
Like what's coming, right?
I was like, why isn't anybody freaking out? Somebody's supposed to be yelling at me, and somebody's like, and no, it was just so chill and cool. And so it's like, yeah, she's like, hey, maybe having contractions. I was like, all right, cool. And so it's just an opportunity to bring a new human into the world without it being some massive polarized freak out.
Yeah, and some crazy endeavor.
Yeah,
I think it's the most humane, like from the mother's perspective for sure. But I think from the child's perspective, it's the most humane, because it's their first moment into the world, right? And they're going to spend their first moments in the world in their home, which is super awesome and beautiful. Or they're going to spend their first moments in like this horrible concrete structure that's full of lights that aren't flattering to the human perception. It's full of sickness, full of death, full of people who don't give a fuck about you. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if I'm gonna pick day one to begin, I want to be day one in my house. You know what I mean? Totally
for sure. For sure. Yeah, and that was the biggest thing. I remember it so vividly. Like, I wake up at 6:30 in the morning. And I'm like, hey, babe, I'm going to go get in the shower. You're ready for work? She's like, I've been having contractions for about 3 hours. I think the baby's coming. I was like, and like immediately, like this visceral, like I'm a warrior thing kind of like lights up and be like, what are we going to do? What are you going to call? What do you need me to do? Who do you need me to go? What mountain do you need me to go storm?
Yeah, I'll move that shit.
I'm going to move that shit. And she's like, no, it's cool. Just chill. She's like, I think you need to stay home though. And it was funny because I was still in the Navy. It was about a year before I got out, and I was supposed to be a witness in a court martial that day.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a murder trial, and I wasn't a key witness. Some dude had been doing math and lying about it, and we were gonna bust his ass. And
Bad one.
yeah, I was like one of 3 guys that had the exact same story to corroborate the evidence against him. And I remember calling the lawyer up. I was like, "Hey, man," and he's like a lieutenant junior grade. He's like an O2, which as far as officers go is super low level, and I was a pretty high level enlisted when I got out. And I was like, "I'm not going to be there today because my wife's having a baby." He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Do you think there's a possibility that you could maybe?" I was like, "Dude, I'm telling you, I'm not coming in. Like, I'm not going. Like, somebody that's way, way higher ranked than you is going to have to call me to make me go because this is the most important thing in the world." And he's like, and he's like, "Okay, well, I'm going to have to talk." And I was like, "You talk to them, but even if they call, I'm still not coming. Like, it's just not going to happen." So yeah, I ended up not going. And we
ended up with your own court martial.
no court martial. And so, but that was like, I got off the phone and I'm just like sitting there. I was like, "Okay, what do we need to do?" She's like, "Nothing, just chill." And I was like, "What do you mean just chill?" You know, I'm like thinking of like the SUV scene from 9 Months when like driving through San Francisco, like launching over freaking the Jersey barrier in a I don't know, like a Lincoln Navigator or something. And it actually, once it got calmed down, I think because our labor was like 24 hours to the minute.
Oh, wow.
And from like 6:30 in the morning until I woke up, the midwife didn't even come till 9:30 that night. So it was just us the day by ourselves. One of McCare's chiropractor's friends came over and gave her a during labor adjustment, and somebody brought us food.
Yes.
And somebody was just there, but then mostly it was just the 2 of us just there. Like I was just on the iPad, just like counting contractions and keeping track and keeping her as comfortable as possible. And then like McCare, like once the contractions started getting, closer, called the midwife up. She's like, "Okay, I'm on my way." And this was, she's dealing with her family and her kids and doing her family thing. And then got there around 9, and then 9:30. And like then they rolled in the door and it was like go time. She's like checked her. She's like 7 centimeters dilated, and it was like it's go time. Like the moment it was there.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but it was so cool because the midwife, her name's Yi. We're using the same midwife again. She was so chill. She's like a yoga instructor, and just like everything is cool, everything is great. It's just easy, just breathe. Blah, blah. And I was like, "Man, lady, you're almost too chill." And then she brought her backup lady named Madeline, and she was like the more like mechanical. She's like, "Well, this is what's happening now, and this is what's done." And she was like, I just almost felt like she was there to support me, like the questions that I wanted. So now that I have the information, which is very popular for us men, as long as we have the information in the
now we got it. We're good.
I have the information. I can chill and wait until I need more information. So there's just something for me to collect. It's like hungry hippos, right?
Yep.
Just like, give me the information. And then it was really just McCare, like allowing her body to do its thing.
Totally, man. Let that biology do what it needs to do.
Yeah, like the stuff that's like built into your DNA that your body like knows how to do. Your like body's like, "I got this."
Yeah.
And so doing that again, like going through the second one and learning even more, it's like even more. It's just like your bodies know, and you notice all these things that we see in the media and on TV and in movies. It's just like, don't push now, da 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 da. But it's like your body knows when to push, and you can they teach you how to feel and know if the baby's head is there. And yeah, man. So that's the weird stuff we're gonna get into sometime between now and the 21st. Like
That's coming soon. Amazing.
Yeah, the 21st is the due date. So we're 3 weeks early if it goes to today.
Do you guys know the sex?
It's another girl.
Oh man.
Another girl, man.
Amazing.
Yeah, man.
You just need that feminine energy in your life. You've had too much masculine energy for the last 20 years.
Yeah, for sure. Andrew's 17 and a half.
Well, the military, dude, for
20
fucking years.
20 years in the military. And I think that's one of the things too, when I was 21 when my ex got pregnant with Andrew, and I was like, it's going to be a boy. Like I just knew it. Like it was just, I willed it into existence. And then when we got pregnant with Charlie, we just knew. We waited till the birth to find out the sex, but we just both knew it was gonna be a girl.
So cool to wait.
And the thing that it was for me, I was just like, I just kept thinking, I was like, I need less violence in my life. It's just gonna be a girl, you know? It's just gonna be a girl. It's gonna be like this
Need
whole
less warrior DNA.
yeah, this just like this whole softening experience. And it's just been such an amazing contrast. And having Andrew moved in with us 3 months before the birth, and just us being able to repair our relationship while having Charlie there, and an opportunity for both of us to yell less and be like, have to just be that like
Yeah,
less.
totally.
It's just been such an amazing experience. And so now, yeah, we're going to do it again. Because now I think it's just crazy. It's like, okay, we had everything figured out. We're making it work. What's up with this unnecessary extra layer? We were totally doing good. And so it's just another opportunity to grow. And hoo-yah, John. Thanks for hanging out, homie.
It's amazing, man. Congratulations on the future, bringing in another child into the world, doing it the natural way. It's cool, man.
Yeah, man. I'm stoked about it.
Inspirational. I definitely want to go that route.
Yeah, for sure. Let me know. All you do is.
I'm a ways away, but.
Yeah, no, I get it. Right on. What else you got today, man?
I'm gonna start microdosing psilocybin 5 days on.
I have no idea what that is.
You don't know what psilocybin is?
Nope. I'll Google it, or I'll just let you tell me what it is.
You know what mushrooms are? Hallucinogenic mushrooms. So I'm gonna start microdosing hallucinogenic mushrooms 5 days a week.
What do they call that? Augmented reality.
No, I think we're already
minus the electronics. Minus the electronics.
Yeah,
we are for sure.
No, it's an experiment I'm doing with a man you know, Darren Willinson.
I like that guy.
I like that guy a lot too. They're actually some that he cultivated himself, and he made up some nice little tabs that we're going to kind of do in tandem. And there's a ton of research around microdosing.
Supposedly.
No, there is. I've been reading about it, different things dealing with depression, anxiety, ADD. So I have super bad ADD, which I've learned to use. So it's no longer a disorder by any means. It's just superpower, if anything. However, any help in that department would be nice, because I have to actively work on it for it to
one of the things that I've found, speaking of ADD, is that I attract a lot of people with ADD into my sphere.
Interesting.
It's just so it's funny because I've never really looked into like labeling myself as, or getting myself checked out as ADD or whatever. But it's just interesting to notice. It's one of the things I've noticed in the last couple of months. Like this client, this trait, man, woman, sexual trauma, infidelity, sexual trauma, infidelity, ADD, like across the board. And so it's interesting how these things collect and then just come into this space, and you become almost like a positively charged ion for those specific traits and these
totally, man.
Yeah, because these are the people you're supposed to work with. And
the laws of attraction.
The laws of attraction and all this other stuff that we make up to make sense of this reality.
The balancing of the equation is all that really is.
Yeah, for sure.
It always balances out. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. That's going to be I think it's about a 2-month thing. I think there's like 60 pills in here.
When do you start that?
I start that tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
My first
60 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just another experiment. I have no idea what to expect from that. I also start training for Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, boy. That's right.
That's actually what started our whole little conversation a little
Yeah,
while.
this was starting that. We were going to have you on the podcast talking about that. Now I like this structure way better. This would be cool, because then we can catch up with you next week about your.
Yeah, we can keep talking about it.
Yeah, to keep the stuff that's going on, and you can take a satellite phone at the top of Kilimanjaro. We'll do a video from there when you're.
I will definitely get a selfie for you.
Yeah, dude, that'll be cool. That'll be super cool.
So I'll share a little bit of the parameters with that, just so you can kind of understand. So any normal route up Kilimanjaro is anywhere from 5 to 9 days, And it's not a particularly difficult climb, but it is significant elevation change. And something that's associated with elevation change is something called acute mountain sickness. So that's why they go 5 to 9 days, depending on fitness level. It takes 5 to 9 days. We're going to go from jungle floor of Africa to the top in 48 hours or less. And so this is an extreme feat of human performance. And we're going to use breathing technique and mindset to get through it. We're also going to do it. Of course, we're also going to do it mostly in no shirt.
Right. Obviously. So I know Africa's like as big as the rest of the continents put together.
Totally. It's pretty big.
And we think of Africa and we just think that it's always hot. I'm looking on a map to see like where exactly. I don't know. What time of year are you doing it at?
We're going in February. So it will be 35 degrees Celsius on the jungle floor. So super hot in the high 90s to above 100 in Fahrenheit. And we're going to climb to, I think it's 18,000 feet, 17,000 feet. I'm not sure. I know it in meters. It's like 800 meters or 8,000 meters. Anyways,
8,000 meters.
It'll be freezing. It's pretty much always freezing on top of Kilimanjaro. It's interesting. It's the only indigenous ice on the continent of Africa. So it's the only ice that's native to the continent. Which is pretty exciting. To see that.
That's cool. So does the training start tomorrow too?
The training is something that's been ongoing.
Right.
The intention around like gearing my mind up for this thing, because it's definitely mental, has started today. The mental, like I'm committed to this thing, like I'm actually taking steps to get there. The more intense and specific training for like those breathing protocols and like the priming my body for the journey itself, because I'm going to do some high altitude training stuff on my own before, just because I want to go faster than 48 hours, honestly. So I'm gonna do some stuff before that'll start the 2 months before. But this is I'm walking, committed to walking so many miles per week, and got some back-to-back hikes coming up where I hike one day 18 miles and then hike 18 miles the next day. Which I've never done. I've hiked 18 miles and then chilled for a couple of days. I've never hiked 18 miles and then got up and did it again. So that's going to be insane.
What's the Kilimanjaro mileage?
It is 44 kilometers. So right around
44 kilometers. So like a little 18 miles or so. Let me do some.
No, I'm actually wrong. Let me check
40
that.
Kilimanjaro. Yeah, go for it and look it up. That's interesting, man. What's the point of doing it in 2 days? Is just to it's just with the Wim Hof stuff to kind of prove that we can, or what's tell me what that's all about. I'm interested.
So the 48 hours it's 37 miles gate to gate.
Okay.
The point of it is really comes down to liberty. So doing something that feels like it's not possible. For me, it's also not about the climb. It's about the road to the climb. So getting to the top of a mountain is pointless, right? I mean, it's just, you're at the top and then you turn around and go down. So like this idea is cool and exciting, but it's every step to the top that I'm interested in.
Right. Yeah.
The mindset that's going to take me up to the top, and the mindset that's going to set my training up to be successful in the first place. I'm also doing this with a group of other people who are either at my level of training or below. So I'm going to be facilitating their prep work as well with a few other people. So there's a lot of different moving parts that I have to get going to get there. And that's kind of what it's about, man, is getting all these different wheels turning, working on content, because I'm going to be making videos for the people that I'm doing this with so they can practice certain things in advance. So I've never done that before. I'm going to be doing specific exercise protocols that people can do in advance. I've never done anything like that before. And the whole point of it is to do it. It's about every single step.
Yeah, just about doing it. Yeah, dude, I love it. I think that's really cool.
And we'll see if I make it.
Nah, dude, I dig it. Yeah, don't die. I don't want to stop doing these videos.
No, man, I won't die. I'm going there to live, damn it.
I'm going there to live. No, it's freaking cool, dude.
Yeah, man.
Man, 16,000 feet, 18,000 feet, whatever. I think Mount Rainier is, so it's gonna be 100 degrees in the day, and then just
on the
super
bottom.
cold at night on the
Yeah,
bottom.
in the beginning, it's going to be super hot,
Mhm.
like super fucking hot. Like it's Tanzania
Yeah.
jungle.
Hmm.
And yeah, so we go from super hot 2 days later to freezing balls.
Yeah, freezing cold. Interesting, man. I dig it. And what's the date on that again?
We're aiming for the end of February. We haven't
End
nailed
of
down an
February. That's right.
exact date yet.
Okay.
There's some moving parts involved in that, but it's actually a lot cheaper than I was expecting. The group's gonna because you have to have a group. You have to have a group take you up. It's the law for the park, and the whole thing's gonna be like $1,500 a person. So
A group like a Tanzanian version of a Sherpa, or
totally, exactly.
yeah, okay.
And so these guys, the role that they fill is one to like be like base camp to support the group as they go up, to bring infrastructure. But I think overwhelmingly the point of them is to protect the mountain, because at
For
the end of the
sure.
day,
No,
at the end of the day,
I
it's
love
their
that
mountain.
too. Yeah, I really dig that, and I think that's something that people have, like, they don't realize. They just don't even realize. You just think it's a guide. Oh, they're just there to guide you, and no, they're there to protect. Like, these places are sacred places for some people.
They are, especially Africa, man, and especially
Africa.
especially
Yeah.
this mountain is super sacred. If you look at Mount Everest, for example, it's a fucking trash pile, man. Like, there's so much garbage on Mount Everest because old Whitey likes to leave his shit behind and not carry it out. Like, that shit doesn't fly. That shit doesn't fly on Kilimanjaro, man. They're packing our shit in, and like literally, we're gonna shit into bags, and they take it up and they take it down. Like, we don't leave anything behind. Leave no trace.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
It is. I think it's super important because if we're leaving our shit all over the place, then what the fuck, man?
No, I know. And it's like, and you do that once, like, I think just like the fact that you're carrying your actual shit, you're going to carry it to the top of the mountain. Like, and I love the metaphor that carries with it too. Like, you're physically carrying your shit,
totally, man,
physically and mentally, to the top of this mountain, and you're not going to leave it there. You're going to bring it back with you.
Back down, man.
And I think it's the thing is because, like, people, we get into these programs, or we do seminars, or we do, I don't know, so we do seminars or weekend retreats, or we do coaching, or we go to psychology, and it's like, oh, I'm cured. I've already done the work around my mom. Well, who cares? Like, that stuff's going to show up one day when you're freaking 68.
Gotta carry that shit around.
You gotta, it goes with you. And I love the freaking symbolism of that so much, because it would be wonderful to be able to take some magic pill and just make it all go away. But it just doesn't do that. Like, this is who we are. This is how we're put together. All the parts, all the pieces. Dude, I love you, bro. God, I just love the way you do it. You do it for reals, and I just appreciate it. I appreciate you. I love the freaking breadth that our conversation took today. It's just, I love how long it took us to sign on to this thing for third week in a row.
It's cool, man. I think these things are important for us.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
I agree.
And if anybody who's listening has any questions for me or Dustin, again, I guess I didn't say this at the beginning. We're going to hop on here once a week, best we can. Mind you, my wife is going to have a baby sometime in the next 3 weeks. So we may take a small break of a couple weeks or so in between there. Dustin's training to climb Mount Kilimanjaro in February. This is something that him and I kind of started this conversation. We were going to have, like, my intention was to have him on the podcast, have like a pre-Kilimanjaro episode and then a post-Kilimanjaro episode. And then my format changed. So it was like, well, why don't we I love the conversations I have with this man. And so we just decided to do this once a week. We're going to hop on Facebook Live. We're recording the video. We're dropping it as of now onto my YouTube channel. We may end up creating a Do the Weird Shit YouTube channel. This could turn into some international thing that him and I do from who knows. If you have any questions, yeah, you never know. I'm collecting right now. We're just dropping it where it can be dropped for free. So if anybody has any questions about any of the stuff we're talking about, the work that I do or that Dustin does, check his website out, is wholemoon.org. Or you can email Dustin at wholemoon.org. You can obviously see his Facebook profile here. Just look him up, Dustin Moon, on Facebook. You can message him there. Myself, message me at Ryan Schraube, ryanschraube.com. I've recently released a podcast. Episode 2 is dropping tomorrow. It's at ryanschraube.com. Yeah, dude, I'm so stoked about it. Oh my God, I'm so Stoked about it. The podcast is at ryantrouble.com/podcast. You can find that on iTunes or wherever else, and you can find me where else. You can search the name Ryan Trouble and I will pop up. If there's anything, the kind of our idea for this is we're going to talk about weird stuff that we notice in our own realities and in what we perceive as other people's realities, which is just really our reality. So it's all one. So we just kind of want to talk about stuff that's uncommon, and which is kind of how our businesses have different contexts, but it's kind of the same mission. We really like to push the envelope that is the human condition. So if you guys have anything you'd like us to talk about or any ideas, get in contact with either of us. We'll be back on here in a week. And I think that's going to do it for today, brother. You got anything else?
I was going to share the fact that I don't wear deodorant anymore because that's pretty fucking weird.
Really?
So I went 6 months. I went 6 months. I went 6 months without it. I gave it up for 6 months. Not intentionally going 6 months, but I noticed after 6 months, my chemistry in my body changed and my odor changed. And my partners, women that I date, have also noticed that my scent changed after going 6 months without deodorant. So I smell different now. And yeah, man, it's crazy how little I stink as a result. Before, if I I'd have BO 10 minutes after getting out of the shower.
Me too. Me too.
Thing.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how long it takes. I don't know if it's 6 months or 2 months or whatever, but after 6 months is when I was like, I smell totally different. So, some weird shit for you. I do lots of weird shit though. So.
I don't know if Louay is still on here. Louay just asked us a question from a few minutes ago. He wants to know how we both stay focused every day on our stuff. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Or if you still have time,
Yeah, totally. I have time. I think that I don't stay focused on my shit every day. I think that I take long breaks from focusing on my shit. And the longer the break is, the more painful it is realizing that I've been taking a break. However, the break generally offers a new insight that I might not have missed had I been consistent in it. When motivation doesn't do anything, inspiration isn't enough. It's determination that gets us there. So you kind of just learn to play that game. Is today a day that I can be in my shit, or is today a day that I'm going to go out there and get it? And that's kind of how because I'm not always in it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not.
I love that answer. And I have a very, very similar answer. I remember the first week we met, we did this exercise where we climbed up to the top of this hill blindfolded, like following a rope. And I remember getting to the top and just pulling the blindfolds off, and we were like at the top of this beautiful, this small hill in the top of this valley, and just looking over. It's one of the most beautiful sights I've ever seen. And I was like crying. And I remember when they asked me like, hey, what's wrong? Like the thing that was the most sad for me is that I was so rigid about my schedule. And it's like, I got to get up this time. I got to get to work. I got to get to work this time. And I got to get to the gym. And I got to spend 2.5 hours a day in the gym. And I got to get home. And then I got to eat dinner. And then I got to go to bed and do everything over and over and over and over and over. And I remember that like on Sundays on my rest day, like I would just sit in home all day because I was too tired from working out inside of a box all the time. And so one of the things that I try to do now is to do the best is kind of like wake up and say, what is the most powerful thing that I could do today? Like, what do I think that it is? And sometimes, and I wrote a post about this on Facebook last week, sometimes it's freaking fill a popcorn bowl full of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and just eating it. Because like sometimes that's the most powerful thing I can do. Sometimes it's doing this call. And then I think to keep me in check to a certain amount, I have a certain amount of people that I have positioned in my life. Dustin's one of them. That like we have this Monday check-in to where it's like, hey man, remember that thing you were talking about that you said you were going to do? It's like Kilimanjaro is going to come up in February. I'll be like, hey Dustin, it's January 1st. You need to start training, bro. Like you need to start, man. Yeah, you need to start. And so you see me with a jacket on in January, you'd be like, what the fuck, dude? Right. Yeah, take your jacket off. And so the way for me, it's really to share the things that I really want. To share the things that I really want with as many people as possible, so that the next time I see Dustin, he'd be like, hey man, how's that thing going? oh, well, I took a minute off. I knew I was going to grow my mustache out for 97 days and I got to like day 6. And so he can be like, hey, remember why you said you wanted to do that, or remember this. And then, but not just to hold me accountable, but to also check in to make sure that my why hasn't changed, to make sure that my goals haven't updated, to my person is who I am hasn't shifted. And so just to be able to really be able to flux in and out and ebb and flow and all the cycles of the moon and all these other things. And you know, like, especially as men, women talk about their cycles all the time, but I think it's more powerful for us as men to be able to talk about our cycles as well.
Yeah.
And to really be able to hammer the days that we're really feeling in it, and to also give ourselves some grace and some, you know, some self-compassion for the days that we might not feeling it. And I think just respecting those cycles is the best way for me to stay as in it as possible. Does it make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, Louis, that's a really good question. I appreciate you asking that, brother.
I think I want to add one more thing before we call that question answered. Another thing, at least that I've noticed for me on a personal level, that has just been able to get me through any amount of resistance that I can manifest up here, is being dedicated to a cause bigger than me. And so when I align my why with something outside of this silly ego flesh stick, and I go out there in this huge, massive universe, and I put my why out there, it makes transcending my bullshit that much easier, because this external thing is way bigger than me, way bigger than anything I could ever dream up. And so putting my thing out there, like this Wim Hof stuff, like these workshops, man, I hate getting in front of a room full of people and talking, dude. I fucking hate it. I'm terrified by it, but I do it, and I love it when I'm doing it, because it's something way bigger than me. I don't have to think about my bullshit. When it's go time, I wake up that morning, I am in go time the whole time, because I'm dedicated to their experience. I'm dedicated to what they have to gain from it. And so aligning myself with something larger than me, it's a really good trick. So if you can figure out a way to go back to the spirit of the question, to align your why with something that's external and bigger than you, you might have a better opportunity at sticking to it.
Dude, I love it. I think it's perfect. I dig it. And I like I'm not going to get started on the bigger than you, because the bigger than you is you. And
totally.
I was like, as soon as you said that, I was like, we got to tie this up. It's too metaphysical to get in today. Maybe we'll do that next week. All right. Anybody else? If you guys have anything else, be sure to send us some stuff, and we will catch up with you guys then. I'll get this video processed and drop it to the YouTube channel here momentarily. I'm going to hop off here and get home to my maybe delivering a baby wife. Dude, and yeah. Nah, it's in the oven. She hasn't messaged me back, so I think we're probably good, but I'll let you guys know. For sure. Well, and all right, man. You guys. Much love. I love you so much. And likewise, I'll message you through the week, and I'll see you on here next week for sure.
I'll see you on the next cycle, man.
Heck yeah, brother. Talk to you later.
Later.